Hello everybody, and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Leaf. Welcome, Amiibo! I just realized I'm congested by going to talk, and I can feel the congestion in my throat. That's always fun. This one can go. From Lobo! What we got? Had a page of stationery left over. It seemed like a waste not to do anything with it, so I wrote you a letter since you probably feel pretty bored without me. I mean, I just feel bored a lot lately. Though I will say I've been playing more Splatoon 3 with a one of my old stream viewers got in contact and was like, "Hey, wanna play some Splatoon?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we've been playing Splatoon basically every day. It's been really nice. It's been really fun having someone to actually play Splatoon with again. I mean, it's fun just having someone to play games with, like... I don't really have much to actually talk about today, either. Like, okay, there is something I could ramble about. And I might, because it's the thing I've been basically doing, more or less, for a while, and that's arguing with people, which I really need to stop doing. Like, literally, one of the songs I've been listening to the most lately is, Brental Floss's Ocarina of Time music video, where basically the whole point of the song is, you know, why are we always fighting on the internet? Like, surely we can disagree and both still be fans of stuff. Just get sleepy after lunch, so I drink coffee to wake up. Ooh, yawn. My coffee and my sleepiness are duking it out. That's fair. But like, the problem with that is, like, I don't set out to argue with people. It's people tend to end up arguing with me. The latest example of this, and it is World of Warships, I do apologize. But hey, I'm going to be uploading that World of Warships series soon. Maybe by the time this is up, there will already be the first episode out. I don't know yet. But, like... congestion. But like, there's a new ship that was added to World of Warships. So I'm not wearing my glasses today, and man, I can feel it. It's weird. Hold on. I need to put them on. I can feel that, like, I'm squinting more. I don't know if I actually am. It just definitely feels like I am. So, you know. Maybe my eyesight is really going and I should wear these, like, all the time. I tend to not to. But yeah, there's a new ship added to World of Warships called Hildebrand. It is a Tier 10 hybrid battlecruiser. So basically, battleship-sized guns on a cruiser hull with a flight deck so it can launch aircraft. So many people are complaining that it's so overpowered and broken and all this. It's like, but it's not, though. That's the thing. It's no real more powerful than most other surface ships at Tier 10. Honestly, a ship like Puerto Rico, I would argue, is stronger and has much more utility for its team, and is also a battlecruiser. Des Moines, one of the oldest heavy cruisers in the game, is arguably more useful to its team. Moskva, Alexander Nevsky. There's so many better ships. And so you today, S-Trains. What's going on? Wanna chat? S-Train, didn't I hear you saying you really wanted a cabin rug? I have an extra one. You just want to sell it. I'll buy it. Here you go. Have some money. But, like, all I've really done is, like, basically just point out of just how not overpowered Hildebrand is. I have the thing, I've played it, which is more than what most people complaining it's overpowered can say. Like, it's a strong ship, yeah. I'm not saying it's weak by any means, but it's not overpowered. It just seems like the World of Warships community as a whole is just getting into this endless cycle of anything new is immediately broken and overpowered and needs nerfed. Because it's different from what we already have. Like, there was a lot of people that were like, oh man, what they should have done is just made it an up-tiered Aegir, which is a tier 9 battlecruiser in Germany. And, you know, made it an up-tiered Aegir, but like, with a secondary gimmick. It's like, oh, so Napoli? We have that. It's called Napoli. And if the ship ended up being stronger than Napoli, which is the only way it could realistically make sense for people to actually want to get it, people would have complained because it's stronger than Napoli. There was another group of people who were like, oh, they should have just made it an up-tiered Aegir but give it an extra turret. Oh, so Puerto Rico then? But worse? Because there's no real way of making a battlecruiser better than Puerto Rico without it becoming completely absurd? Because Puerto Rico being an American battlecruiser? Oh, hello to you. Hey, S. Can I interest you in a pink parka? Mine was an impulse buy, and I'm not really using it. See, it's sitting there untouched. Sure, I'll buy it. I don't even know how much inventory space I have left at this point. But yeah, Puerto Rico is an American battlecruiser with American armor piercing with enhanced penetration angles, as well as more damage than same size armor piercing. It's pretty hard to be better than that without being completely busted, because Puerto Rico is already a really strong ship. Like, this is the kind of thing you run into, of like, unless they make something completely different, which then people are going to complain is overpowered, because it's different, not that it's actually more powerful, it's just more different. Hello, Rooney. Jabs. I see you're surviving. Punches. You want to talk? Sure, let's talk. Hey, Pookie. Got a special favor to ask you. Here goes. I want your pink parka. Me for free? Sure. It wasn't mine, it was Tia's. You could have just bought it from her, but whatever, or traded her. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he tried to trade her, and then she was like, I'm sorry, I don't want your closet. I just want bells. Can I change into it? No? Okay, so he's putting it in his house. Good. But, like, unless they make things really different, there's no real way to make a new ship that's not just gonna feel underpowered or overpowered. Because, like, if they had given it the extra turret, well, now it's in competition with Puerto Rico, which was a dockyard ship. You only had a limited amount of time to get a hold of it. They have run that dockyard twice, but it's still a dockyard ship. It also puts it in competition with Mecklenburg, which is a German battlecruiser at tier 10, which is in the battleship slot instead of the cruiser slot, but is armed with 16 305s, the same size guns as Aegir. Same size guns as Hindenburg. Not Hindenburg. Hildebrand. Hindenburg is the regular tier 10 heavy. It's a heavy cruiser. It has 203s. Now, why this is important is Mecklenburg has enhanced dispersion. It's basically a giant cruiser in the battleship slot. Unlike Hildebrand, or Aegir, or Puerto Rico, which are basically small battleships in the cruiser slot. But they do more or less compete because they fill the same tactical role in-game. It's just what you're giving up to get it comes into question. And a Mecklenburg can still do a battleship's job, and Aegir or a Hildebrand or a Puerto Rico, depending on the enemies, really can't do a battleship's job. Fuchsia! Hey, what's up, Major S girlfriend? So you need something? What's the latest? So, Major S, when you're gathering fruit, can you grab some for me too? Because I got stung by a bee the other day. It's a really negative impact on my tree shaking skills. Won't ask for much. Any kind of fruit will do. Sound good? I'm counting on you. Leave it to me. Really? Awesome. I'll be waiting for you, girlfriend. I'm gonna come talk with Lobo first, but I'll go get you your fruit like right now. Caterpillar! I'm impressed you're surviving. So what's up? What's the latest? Good at catching bugs, right? If you're not, just hear me out. A butterfly! Any kind will do. Yeah, I can catch a butterfly. And Lobo, you can just say the butterflies for yourself. I'm not gonna judge you, man. I like butterflies. They're pretty neat. I should really get the fruit first. You know what? Orange. 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 I don't have room for stuff. I do have room for stuff. Okay. Let's stack these oranges. Butterfly. There we go. Bug net away so I don't accidentally bonk Fuchsia. I do get around. But yeah, like, there's been so many people arguing with me of like, no, it's overpowered because such and such a community contributor says so. Heh, okay, here we go. But up and down the hatch. Yep, there's nothing like the real thing. Way better than some fake flavored candy. I'll use something for that. Here, take this. Take this. So my noodle tea. It's all yours now. Thanks a bunch. You're a huge help, girlfriend. Aww. Now, Lobo! I have your butterfly. Caterpillar! Need something? I brought your bug! Here you go! Monarch butterfly! Oh man, that's one good-looking monarch butterfly. Thanks! Alright, need to thank you. Please take my fancy dreamy tea. Alright. Nose is itchy. Well, like, it's so exhausting. Like, I don't know why I keep letting myself getting, like, baited into arguing with people as well. Like, at this point, I almost feel like I'm also being baited to leave comments on, like, say, Potato Qualities videos. Because, like, shop at this? Me too. What's going on? Want chat? There's so many shops in the area, feels like we're throwing parties all year long. That is fair. Like, it's just... The same with, like, the Mighty Jingles. He's another one that's, like, constantly on aircraft carrier hate, aircraft hate, all this. It's like... They say so many things that are just demonstratively wrong that, like... I have this urge to want to correct them because they're wrong and they're spreading that information to potentially new players. And then those new players will have the wrong information, you know. And I don't want that. But at the same time, like, leaving that comment just boosts their algorithm, you know, boosts them in the algorithm. And also, like, doesn't do any good because I'm not changing their minds. I've tried. I've had the Mighty Jingles reply to me before, being, you know, trying to argue against points I was making. And he eventually just kind of stopped, but he hasn't stopped complaining about aircraft carriers. After, I think he realized that the things he was complaining about, like, were just mechanics of the game. They weren't issues with aircraft carriers. Like, he was complaining that, you know, firing at a carrier, the shells were just bouncing off of the armored flight deck. Yep, they'll do that. Same as they will on the armored deck of a battleship. The thing that makes a shell bite into a battleship more often than it bites into a carrier is just simply the battleship has superstructure that the shell will bite into. Man, my nose is really freaking itchy. Ah. Rub it so much it's gone red. It's like there's something right there causing my nose to itch, and I don't like it. Wish my body would just sneeze already. Get rid of whatever it is. Or I could blow my nose, but I don't like blowing my nose with the headphones on. These headphones don't breathe very well, so, you know. I do wish whatever was blocking my nose just wasn't. I might jump cut so I can blow my nose. I'm gonna do that, so. Jump cut. Okay, back from the jump cut. Hopefully, my nose won't be as itchy now. Hopefully. Let's do our Gulliver check. I really need to just, like, make a commitment to stop arguing with people. Like, especially when, like, there's no point. And I'm realizing that more and more. There is no point. Because, I mean, just using, you know, like I said, the Mighty Jingles. He's actually replied to me before, and I've pointed out more, you know, basically correcting him being wrong about the game mechanics of a game that he's been playing for longer than I have and should realistically know more about than I do, but whatever. Like, he still goes on about how, you know, it's unfair and bullshit that carriers work the way they do. It's like, it's literally the game mechanics. Like, battleships get that mean protection on parts of their ships that are actually armored and protected. Like, using Mecklenburg as an example, that ship has very little bow space that a Yamato can overmatch. It has no deck space that a Yamato can overmatch. It has a tiny bit of stern space. The rest of its, like, deck that isn't covered in superstructure or guns, Yamato will just bounce off of outside of, like, 30 kilometers. Like, that's just how the game works. That's how it's always worked. There's nothing special there. Like, at the same time, that Yamato can double tap its one key and fire high explosive at the carrier and deal guaranteed damage basically no matter where it hits. Unless it's a British carrier, in which case it has to be slightly more accurate. Like, that British carrier as well, unless its bombs land in the Yamato's superstructure or bow and stern, will shatter and deal no damage whatsoever. There's also this notion, it seems, that, like, trying to word this. There's this notion that carriers should be easier to counter because the doctrine of carriers replacing battleships didn't really happen until after World War II. It's like, yeah, but that didn't make anti-aircraft any more effective. And the writing had been on the wall since the interwar period. Every country around the world knew aircraft carriers were the future. Some just clung to battleships longer than others. Germany was one of those countries. If they had built aircraft carriers instead of battleships, they may have given the British more of a run for their money than they did. Because yeah, Bismarck is scary. And Bismarck was very scary. But the British were equally as afraid of Graf Zeppelin ever being completed. Graf Zeppelin being the aircraft carrier the Germans almost finished. Like, if they had, instead of building Bismarck, Tirpitz, Scharnhorst, Gneisenau, built 4 fleet carriers, which also would have given them more time and resources to build out Graf Spee, which would have given them 5 fleet carriers, then rather than building Deutschland and Graf Spee into battlecruisers, built them into light support carriers or just standard heavy cruisers with a lot of AA guns, they would have had a really sizable capital fleet that would have been a real threat to the very battleship-heavy Royal Navy. But the Germans tried to fight the British on their own terms, on the British's terms. Like, I know this is going to be a sore spot to bring up for a lot of Americans, but how did Pearl Harbor go? You know, when your fleet of battleships was attacked by aircraft carriers. How well did the battleships fare? Like, the writing was on the wall. And I don't say that to be offensive or mean. Like, I'm legitimately using that as, like, the example of America was also one of the countries that clung to battleships far longer than they needed to. Japan was right on the money going for aircraft carriers first, but even they still clung to battleships too much. Like, especially after the Washington Naval Treaty, it became very cheap and it became more or less the only viable thing a country could do would be to build light aircraft carriers or cruisers. So it really boggles the mind that more countries didn't build aircraft carriers. Instead, the British tried to build battle cruisers, the French tried to work battleships into the definition of the treaty, the Germans just ignored it and built battleships anyway. Like, congestion. Italy just built battleships anyway. The Washington Naval Treaty accomplished nothing. Like, let's be real. All it did was weaken the nations that actually followed it and push Japan towards the answer. Like, not to toot my own horn as a Canadian, but our, like, capital ships, our biggest ships, were aircraft carriers. Because we realized, hey, those planes work pretty good, eh? They can carry as big of a bomb as that battleship has gun caliber. Like, we can drop bigger bombs than that battleship can fire in shells, eh? I think that aircraft is a lot more effective than that battleship. It's not to say we didn't ask for a battleship. We did. But we settled for the carriers, and then we realized that, oh wait, no, we want carriers. And then post-World War II, guess what Canada got and built and wanted? Aircraft carriers. Like, even now I'm pretty sure we still operate multiple aircraft carriers. Like, it's just one of those things of like, aircraft carriers were the answer. Okay, I've been thinking of something for a while now. You might want to stay my welcome in the good town of Sapphire. I haven't got your portrait yet, you can't leave. You can't go, I haven't got your portrait yet. I am. Certainly wasn't expecting that, but I understand your point. Guess I'll stay in Sapphire for a while longer. Like, I get you want to leave, but I want your portrait, which means I need to do more favors for you, or write letters. Just give me more favors. I don't want to write letters. Letters take effort and space. Ah. But like, carriers and submarines are the most effective things. It's why modern navies are comprised of aircraft carriers, submarines, and anti-aircraft destroyers and cruisers to escort them. Predominantly destroyers. Like, when that aircraft carrier can launch aircraft that carry bigger ordnance or as big of ordnance as your whole battleship does, there is no point to having that battleship anymore. As sad as that is, because battleships are pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling about this now and probably end today off. I've been going on for a while. I've been rambling for a while. Just being a big dork. But yeah. Thank you all very much for watching. And hopefully I will see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. See you all then. And now in this end card, I would like to ask if you liked the video, if you could hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, if you could subscribe, that would help me out a lot. Thanks a bunch.